Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and this is another episode of Road to Dune. So, some new Dune news out. Some of it is kind of old, but some of it is brand new, and it involves the video game and some of the comic books. So, a few things I'm going to talk about in this video. So, let's get into it. Funcom and Nuclear to develop Dune survival game. The spice must flow, or at least that's what Funcom and German developer Nuclear are counting on with a new game in the Dune universe. In 2019, Funcom acquired the rights to make a game based on Frank Herbert's Dune, a popular science fiction series that has spawned several adaptations. The currently untitled project will take inspiration from another Funcom game named Conan Exiles and will focus on survival gameplay. After an investment from media giant Tencent, Funcom reached out to developer Nuclear to help co-develop the new title. As the Dune open-world survival game is the most ambitious project we've ever undertaken at Funcom, having skilled and reliable partners is an absolute must. With Nuclear, we have just that. We've benefited particularly from their expertise in vehicular-based gameplay, but I know them as highly skilled and creative game developers in general, said Hoi Kasai, Funcom CEO. The Hanover, Germany-based Nuclear, founded in 1999, is a hybrid remote company that boasts talent from around the world. Over the last 10 years, the company has worked on several projects of note, including Destroy All Humans and Everspace. Recently, it received a grant from the German government to grow the team to aid with development of the new project. We're grateful to Funcom for bringing us on to help bring Dune to a new audience. We've supported and collaborated on many projects over the years, but taking on Dune is by far the biggest yet, said Kirk Lenke, CEO of Nuclear. Our team welcomes the challenge and is confident in the expertise that Nuclear brings to the table. While the new game doesn't yet have a release window, we expect the sleeper will awaken within a few years. So this is interesting stuff. Now, this is a game I've talked about before, that this was in development, and they were basing it on Conan Exiles, and it was going to be a multiplayer online game, and it was going to be open world and all that. But this whole part of it being like a survival game is something kind of new to me, and it wasn't mentioned in any of the articles of when I covered this game in the past. But that's interesting that they're going to go that route. Now, the only other kind of survival games I've ever played were survival horror ones. But I can see how that fits in with Dune, because Dune is a very harsh environment, the planet, so it seems like a natural fit that your character is going to have to really struggle to survive, learn how to, conserve water, get a still suit, learn how to ride the worms and survive in the desert and all that. So it's very interesting. So the one thing I'm wondering, though, about this game is, when it's open world, will it be just the entirety of the planet Arrakis, or eventually will you be able to, pay some Solaris and book yourself onto a Highliner and go to, say, Caladan or Getty Prime or one of these places? That's kind of interesting if that's going to be part of it. Or will they probably, in the beginning, it'll probably just be Arrakis, and then they'll have upgrades or expansions and stuff where you can go to other planets maybe. But even if they could just do the entirety of the planet Arrakis and have all the areas that you hear about in the book and all that, like Steech Tabar and the Great Bleed and all these things, that would be interesting, to be able to explore all of that. Sounds really cool. So I'm really looking forward to this game and this other company that they're teaming up with to help them. So it sounds like, though, this is going to be at least a few more years away. There's no release date or anything, and not really any kind of gauge on how far they are with this game. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. So now we move on to some comic book news. So they're coming out with the second installment of the Dune graphic novel, the one that's based on the book. And so the first part came out last year. I have that one and sitting on my bookshelf now, and I reviewed it on the channel, took a look at it, and it's a really nice graphic novel, hardcover, very well done. They did a really good job on it. And I flipped through it, and it's pretty much what you get in the book, just in comic book form. I don't really think it's been altered very much, but I haven't read it cover to cover yet. So now part 2 is going to be coming out, and I believe it's in July of next year that this was going to be released, and it's already up for pre-order on Amazon. I've seen it there, and over at, I think, Indigo Chapters. It's on pre-order there as well. So here's an article talking about it because the new cover was just released. Return to Arrakis in Dune, the graphic novel, Part 2. On July 5th, 2022, Abrams Comics will publish Dune, the graphic novel, Book 2, Muad'Dib. The story has been adapted by Brian Herbert, son of Frank Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. The book features illustrations by artists Raul Allen and Patricia Martin. The cover of the graphic novel, painted by comic book legend Bill Sienkiewicz, features everyone's favorite Dune creature, the Sandworm. These creatures play a crucial role in the Fremen's lives and belief system, but the book will certainly explain that more. This series feels like something made for Dune fans, new or old. The old fan will find a fresh perspective on the legendary story, while the new fan can see what Arrakis holds for good old Paul Atreides, without having to read a 400-plus page novel. So now here's what the new cover is going to look like for Book 2, Muad'Dib. And it's, again, done by Bill Sienkiewicz, who did the first cover. And I have to say, I really like this cover a lot more than the cover for the first one. I was a little bit underwhelmed by the cover for the first one, just because I've seen a lot of Bill Sienkiewicz's art over the years, and he's done some amazing artwork, especially if you look at the covers for Dune in the 80s, those 80 comic book adaptions they did of the 1984 film. Now, Bill Sienkiewicz, he painted the covers, and he also illustrated the interiors of those comics. And they were released, I believe, in a 3 or 4 issue miniseries. Because Marvel would always do that back in the 80s. They would always adapt movies, and it always would be in a limited miniseries that would either be split up into 3 or 4 comics. So he did it with Dune. They did it with the 84 Dune, and Bill Sienkiewicz painted all the covers for those comics, and he also drew the interiors. And the covers look really good, but they also reprinted. You can get them all in a graphic novel too, adaptation of the film that was also released in the 80s, and he did yet another cover, separate cover again for that one, and those covers look great. So when I saw that first cover, I was a little bit underwhelmed by it, but this one I think is a lot better, and I really like the colors of it, and I like the lightning going through it. I love how the sandworms look. I love it's almost like a shadow of the sandworm, and you kind of got that inner mouth glowing, because they have their insides they're almost like a furnace, the sandworms, and then you have the silhouette of 2 Fremen there on the sand dune, and I just love the blues and stuff, and it looks really good. I really like this cover a lot better than that first cover. And so that's going to be coming out in July of next year. So now, but they've got a lot of comics coming out for Dune. There's still the house comics that are coming out. You can collect them as monthly floppies, or you can just wait because they're reprinting them all in trades as well. So you can read them that way. I've been collecting them. I haven't really been reading them because I already know the story, so I haven't been in a rush to read them or anything like that. But the artwork in those haven't been too bad, and I've reviewed some of them on my channel as well. But now there's even more coming out as far as comic books are concerned for the Dune franchise. So if all that wasn't enough for you, the Dune graphic novel and the House Atreides comic books and stuff like that, they're also releasing a comic book adaptation of the new Dune film. Legendary Comics announces the official graphic novel adaptation of Denis Villeneuve's epic film Dune. Legendary Comics, in cooperation with Herbert Properties, LLC, announced today the official movie graphic novel based on Warner Brothers Pictures and Legendary Pictures' Dune, the critically acclaimed film adaptation of Frank Herbert's seminal best-selling book from Academy Award-nominated filmmaker Denis Villeneuve. Both the graphic novel and the film, currently in theaters worldwide, tell the epic hero's journey of Paul Atreides. Dune, the official movie graphic novel, adapted by writer Leah Sturges. Legendary Comics, The Science of Ghost, Lumberjanes, with art by Drew Johnson. Legendary Comics, Godzilla Aftershock, and Godzilla Dominion, with colors by digital painter Zid. Legendary Comics, Kingdom Kong, and colorist Nizam. Features beautiful artwork that brings the cinematic vision of Dune to the world of sequential art. Limited editions of the graphic novel are now available for pre-order today, exclusively on Kickstarter, with the book trade edition to follow. Both editions are set to be released in February of 2022, and fans can now pre-order all editions here. Partnering with Rocket Ship Entertainment, the limited edition Kickstarter releases of Dune, the official movie graphic novel, feature 4 distinct covers. Comic legend Bill Sienkiewicz, who created the original Dune comic for Marvel in 1984, returns to the Dune universe to contribute the cover for the graphic novel. 3 additional variant covers from Drew Johnson and Sid, UK illustrator and comic artist John Ridgway, 2000 AD, Hellblazer, Doctor Who, and comic legend Tim Sale, Batman, The Long Halloween, Superman for All Seasons, will also be available. Exclusive merchandise and collectibles will also be offered through Kickstarter. So here's the 3 covers, and I think the middle one is the Bill Sienkiewicz cover. And I think that's going to be the main cover. I'm not totally sure, but though I actually like the one with Jessica on the end there, the first one, and you kind of got the ghostly image of Duke Leto in the background there. I really like that one. Then the third one there, that's okay, I guess. Not really too hot on that one, but sounds like there's going to be a lot of different covers coming out for this. And I've seen it's already for pre-order on the Indigo Chapter site here in Canada. Now, I haven't checked Amazon, but it most likely would be there for pre-order as well. And I guess if you want to get all the special covers, then you have to go to Kickstarter. And this is one thing about comic books that always kind of annoyed me a little bit, was all the variant covers and stuff like that. Kind of, well, I guess collectors buy them, so I guess it's their own fault, I suppose. But it's always kind of a thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit, is when comics do like so many different multiple covers and they make them hard to get and underprint them and all that and artificially inflate them in the marketplace. That's a whole other video. But I think this here now is going to be the standard cover, and looks really good, actually. It's a nice looking cover. And as far as comic book adaptations of films go, like, I'm a comic book collector and I've read comics for years, but I was never the biggest fan of those adaptations of films. Unless I was really into a movie, I'd buy it, but most times I would just pass it over. I never really bought many. The only one I can remember going out of my way to buy was the Return of the Jedi comic book adaptation for that Marvel Comics did. That's the only one I really bought. But I much prefer the idea of them adapting the novel into a graphic novel, like what they're already doing. Them just adapting the film into a comic book, because you're just getting the same story or something. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's not really my cup of tea when it comes to collecting comics. But now, being that I'm really into this movie, I might pick this one up. I'm not sure yet, haven't made up my mind. But if you're into comics, though, and you're into Dune, there's lots of choices out there. Lots of comics coming down the pike. Probably be a lot more, since that part 2 has been greenlit and we're going to get another one. And then see what happens with the show. Haven't heard any news about the TV show in a long time, but for sure there'll be comic tie-ins to that and all kinds of stuff. And they might go on to adapt the other novels into comic books as well as they go on, like Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, and go on. It'd be cool if they did all 6 of the original ones as graphic novels. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.